Hello and welcome. I'm an expert in hotel AI and operations, and it's a real pleasure to be here with you, the students of Europe Hotel School, as you begin your online learning journey. Today, we're diving into a really critical skill: how to negotiate with expert buyers, and more importantly, how to turn what could be a simple transaction into a powerful, lasting partnership.
So let's start with a core idea that kind of reframes this entire challenge. You see, when a well-prepared buyer walks in, it's not a signal for conflict. It's actually a signal that you need to switch on your own structured thinking. Your goal isn't to win a fight, it's to navigate a strategic conversation. Honestly, getting this mindset right is the foundation for everything we're about to cover. Okay, so to get into that structured thinking, you've first got to understand who you're dealing with. I mean, who exactly is this expert buyer sitting across the table from you? Let's really break that down. First thing to remember is that these are not your typical clients. They are specialists. Their entire job revolves around negotiation and getting the best deal. Just like you, they have a job to do, and that's to secure the absolute best outcome for their company. Just recognizing that professional motivation is a huge first step. And just think about their capabilities for a second. These folks often operate on a global scale. They control massive budgets. They're meticulously analyzing every single detail of your proposal against many others. And you can bet they approach every single negotiation with a very clear strategic goal. This isn't just another meeting for them. It's a highly calculated business move. Now, I know, facing that level of expertise can feel, well, pretty intimidating. But here's the thing. Your power doesn't come from being aggressive. It comes from being prepared. This is how you level the playing field and build a real foundation for a successful outcome. And that brings us to the most critical element of any high-stakes negotiation. It's not about charisma. It's not about being charming. It is, without a doubt, meticulous preparation. Knowing your property's value, your market data, and your absolute operational limits, that is your single greatest advantage. This slide just captures the difference perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the professional who leads the conversation, who can explain the why behind their proposal. And then on the right, well, you have someone who's caught off guard, reacting defensively and losing ground with every word. Your goal is to always be the professional on the left. Because by being prepared, you build the one currency that matters most with these buyers: credibility. When you can calmly answer a really tough question with data and with logic, you're not just defending a price. You're demonstrating your expertise and you're earning their professional respect. All right, so let's move on. Let's see how all this preparation helps you handle those really challenging moments in the room. Because when you're prepared, you can navigate that pressure with strategy instead of just reacting with stress. Expert buyers will often use specific tactics to create pressure. This could be something like a long, uncomfortable silence after you state your price, or maybe a sudden urgent deadline, or those really firm statements about their absolute budget limits. The key here is to recognize these for what they are, not personal attacks, but strategic maneuvers. So, how do you counter these tactics? Well, you need to cultivate this really crucial skill: emotional distance. It's all about remembering that the buyer's tough stance is about their objectives, not about you personally. That mindset is what allows you to stay calm, focused, and constructive, no matter how intense things get. So let's say you're faced with a really firm demand. What do you do? Just follow this four-step process. First, acknowledge their concern. Show them you're listening. Second, ask clarifying questions to really understand what they need. Third, try to reframe the issue around a shared goal. And finally, and this is key, respond deliberately. This is all strategy, not just reaction. You see, this kind of disciplined process allows you to maintain control not just of the conversation, but of its timing. And in any negotiation, controlling the pace is an incredibly powerful tool. When a buyer tries to create an artificial deadline, they're trying to rush you into making a mistake. And this is where your patience becomes your greatest strength. Just like it says here, your refusal to be rushed is a powerful, quiet signal of confidence in your position. You have to use timing to your advantage. It is perfectly acceptable, in fact, it's professional, to say, that's a significant request. I need to consult with my revenue team to see what's possible. That isn't a weakness, it's transparency, and it actually builds trust. It shows the buyer that your proposal is based on solid, operational logic, not just random numbers you can change on a whim. When you master these skills, that preparation, the emotional distance, the patience, you elevate the entire interaction. You move beyond a simple one-time deal and you start building a real long-term asset for your hotel. Because the objective here isn't just to win one negotiation. The real prize, the ultimate goal, is to turn a tough, expert buyer into a loyal, high-value partner who brings significant recurring business to your property year after year. This timeline really shows how that relationship evolves. It all starts with a single, probably challenging negotiation. But when you handle it with professional skill, you establish credibility. That credibility then leads to recurring business, and eventually it blossoms into a true strategic partnership that's built on a foundation of trust. Ultimately, success is built on a shared understanding. The strongest, most profitable agreements always happen when both sides feel respected. It's about recognizing that you both have professional goals to meet, and then finding that balanced agreement that works for everyone. So, as you move forward in your careers, I want you to carry this one question into every important negotiation you have. Are you just trying to win this one deal, or are you trying to build a lifelong partner? The answer to that question will guide your strategy, and I promise you, it will define your long-term success. Thank you.